Everybody, and welcome to the series, Mind Hacks to Actually Reach Your Goals. This series was designed to be about 8 to 10 minutes a day over the period of time, a few weeks, to literally go through what are the practical steps that we need to take our lives from where we are to where we got to be. Thanks for joining us, and let's get started. Okay, everybody, welcome back. Episode 11, Hacking Your Brain to Achieve Your Goals. So we're trying to sort of round out these three key pillars, right? Not even pillars. Think of them like elements of a circle, right? When you fill them all in, they just continuously reinforce themselves. The cue, which is the trigger, which you still have to get back to, which we will, with God's help. The routine, which is the habit, which is what you're trying to do, right? That's the neural connections you're looking to make, is the routine. And then the reward. Okay, so what takes place after the routine is the reward. When you're done with it, you got to get something for it. Now, remember, our minds, our bodies, really our minds, are mechanisms that enjoy pleasure, right? Our brains enjoy pleasure. We seek pleasure and satisfaction from our behaviors. That's why we do stuff. That's why we don't do stuff, right? The reason why we can't engage in boring things is because it doesn't give us enough pleasure. In fact, that's probably what boring is. It's that it loses its either bodily or intellectual or emotional pleasure. So then why do it for, right? So the whole conversation as to what pleasure is and resisting pleasure. Okay, it's a different series, but right now we have to realize that what's going to drive us to do things and do them again and again and again is things that give us pleasure. And so you have to build a reward for doing your routine. Okay, what does that reward look like? So it should be anything you look forward to, right? It should be something that you will ultimately crave or anticipate. Well, don't make it destructive. Like don't if you're trying to lose weight and your reward is an ice cream sundae, it's a bad reward, right? But you can build rewards that you give yourself that take place when you're done with your routine, so that when you're finished with it, you get something for it. Your brain says, routine, reward. Think of the famous story of Pavlovian dogs. Remember this dogs of Pavlov, right? The psychologist who took, if I remember correctly, took the dogs, right? And every day would bang on or ring a bell and then give the dogs food. So the dogs said bell, food. And then one day he rang the bell and didn't even food. And the dog started barking and salivating because the brain connected the activity, which is the bell ringing, and the pleasure, which is the eating. So think of it the same way. Our brains in many ways work very similar ways. You're going to take a routine and you're going to connect the routine to a reward. And over time, your brain's going to go, I want to do this because there's a reward. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about rewards and how they work, because I want to make sure you structure right. So if you want to build an ideal reward, here's how you build, in my opinion, ideal rewards. Number one, they're very, very small. They're good, but they're small, right? Because what you want to be doing is, if you can start them a little larger, but you want to get them to be small because you don't need a lot. You just need something. So when you give yourself something, if it's going to be too much, what's going to end up happening is you're just doing the routine for the reward. The reward's going to end up taking a much bigger place. You want to build more and more and more routines. So you can give yourself a reward, but don't overdo it. Find something that you enjoy. It could be something that you do. You give yourself throughout the day, but now hold back throughout the day and put it right after your routine. So, for example, let's assume you wanted to every morning pray, let's say. Okay. So, as opposed to you wanted to sit down and pray, meditate, journal, whatever. You choose your own adventure here. Okay. You want to do something in the morning. So, right now, you don't do it, but you wake up and within the first half an hour or so, you're getting yourself a cup of coffee. So, what you could do is say, I'm not drinking coffee until I do the routine. Now, the first day or two, it's going to take a little bit of discipline, but what'll end up happening is you'll take a reward that you give yourself anyways. It's not much of a reward. It's coffee. You give yourself for free. You've taken something for free and you moved it into a reward now. And now the coffee comes after the routine. Now, in the first 2 days, your brain will be like, what, are you crazy? Like, it was free a minute ago. Like, you don't got to do it. Okay, we'll get to discipline in a second. But after a few days, your brain will go, oh, okay. Let me just get through this thing and then get my cup of coffee. I did this when I was in law school. This was my trick in law school. I think I've tried to grow from this, but when I was younger, I loved junk food. Like loved it. Like I could eat like cereal and pretzels and just junk food, like, and never eat real food especially when I was younger. Like I said earlier, like I lived on almonds and coffee for like, years. Like I'm cool. Saying like enjoy your steak. Like I'm good. Everyone got what they got. So when I was younger, I that was my thing. So I got to law school my first year, and it was insane. 1L. I mean, for those who are 1Ls, you know what I'm talking about. It's insane. It's like competitive, and everyone's pretends they're smarter, and everybody works so hard, and everyone tells you that your grades from your first year is determining the rest of your life, and it's totally different. It's not like memorization; it's analysis, and it's insane. 1L is like it's like the Navy SEALs boot camp for your brain. So I was like outmatched, and I was like, I'm out. I'm not a good student. I barely got through high school. Like I'm trying to be a lawyer. Like I got to stop through law school here, but like I can't. I can't do this. So I played a game with myself. I said, okay, here's what we're gonna do. You can't have any junk food unless you're studying. You can't. No junk food. Study, eat whatever you want. You don't study, no junk food. So the first few days, my brain's like, you gotta be kidding me. You're not doing this. But I held strong. Week and a half, 2 weeks, I held strong. I wasn't studying. I wasn't eating wrong. When I got into the library, opened up my books, all good. You know what happened after like 4 months? I kid you not. I'd walk into like CVS, I'd pack out the store, I'd put it in the library, and I'd plow 8 hours in the library. End of the year, I did well. I gained like 30 pounds. Deal with that. But my brain woke up in the morning and was like, I can't wait to study, because it got used to the junk food that took place during and after the study. Think about things that you either can indulge in a little bit, or that you do now that you can stop doing. Some people that are trying to be more careful, they'll say, listen, I'll eat it on Shabbos. I'll eat it on Shabbat. I'll eat it at the end of the week. I'll eat it whenever. So they're holding out for something later on, right? Your ability to take things and that you enjoy, that give you pleasure. You allow yourself 10 minutes to do this thing. You stop work early. Whatever the things you can structure. The ability to create some reward, the taste of the smoothie on the way out of the gym, the feeling of the phone call you make to the person you want, the things that you like that you do already, or that you want to do that you can indulge in, that's appropriate. That ability that takes place after the beginning of building that routine is critical. Now, the key, though, is it should be really immediate. It should take place right away. Now, over time, you're not going to need it as much, because your brain will get used to the habit. And so your brain will just be better and better at it. And you'll use the same reward for another routine. But until then, if it's immediate, what will take place is your brain will say, okay, I'm doing it, but I'm getting it. And it's shocking just how quickly your brain will say, I like the taste of that smoothie. Let's get to the gym already. Or I like the feeling of that call, or that thing I'm doing, or the ability to relax, or stopping here, whatever the thing is that I've got. I like that. Let's get to it. Let's get to work. Let's get to what I'm doing, because I really want that pleasure, even though you could have it anyways, even though logically that you could just take whenever you want. Your brain will just learn that it belongs there. Now, here's the piece to this. And this is an important piece as we're building out the cue, but let me just give it to you one. You know what? Let's talk about the cues afterwards. So for now, think about this. Okay. Think about really a healthy, productive, yet enjoyable reward you can give yourself, and put that reward right after your routine. And so the cue will get you to your routine, and then your routine will get you to the reward. And by structuring it that way, now you're really putting yourself in a place where your habits will actually get followed. Okay, start there. Thank you, everybody, for joining us in the series. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it helped. I hope it really made a difference in your life. And for those that tagged us on social media and shared it, for those that left a podcast review, for those that shared it with your friends, shared it on your status, we appreciate it. It means a lot to us that you felt comfortable enough to share this with others, of people that you care about. If you missed a day, make sure to check out the show notes for the link to the entire series. You can join us on the Unlocking Greatness Insider community by going to charlieharari.com/insiders. we look forward to hearing your feedback on Instagram and on Twitter and YouTube and WhatsApp and everything else. But really, really appreciate your time and attention and look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks again.